Hello.
What's your name?
Otto.
Otto?
O-T-T-O.
I'm Abby. O-T-T-O.
A Man Called Otto is Tom Hanks' latest movie, adding to the large catalog of great films he's done. This one is based on the novel A Man Called Otto by Frederick Backman and is the second film adaptation of the book. The movie is about a man that is struggling after the death of his wife with plans to join her until new neighbors move in and give him the human contact he didn't know he needed. A Man Called Otto does almost everything right, including its plot development, story depth, and how it managed to tell a tear-jerking story while balancing a comedic undertone. The movie was very well paced, using flashbacks as a primary tool to progress story development in a timely manner without seeming out of place. These flashbacks were the most emotional scenes of the movie, showing his past and why he missed his late wife so much. These were the parts I teared up at because they are used to dive into Otto's pain and push the story along. The comedy was surprisingly effective, causing genuine laughter on multiple occasions for myself and the people watching in the theater around me. They managed to lift my spirits after the sad parts by adding comedy without even adding actual jokes. Many of the times I laughed were because of genuine social interaction from the way they portrayed an old man conversing with unwanted neighbors. These parts didn't take away from the story at all like I was worried it would, as they didn't force cheesy jokes or go for a laugh when it didn't seem appropriate. The comedy was used to lighten the mood after diving into Otto's pain, which really worked for me, and I think they found a good balance between serious drama and comedy. Otto was a complex character with a lot of internal conflict that needed to be resolved. They went about this in a couple ways, one being with the flashbacks. The flashbacks tended to occur when he was about to take his own life or when he was asleep. The ones that happened during his attempts typically had him remembering the good times, while the ones that happened when he was asleep often ended up being sadder. The other way they handled this conflict was with his neighbors. Not only did he get new neighbors, but he also had friends in the neighborhood that he had pushed away after his wife's death. These neighbors continuously showed Otto that they cared about him, but he did everything he could to ignore it until the new neighbors forced him to accept help. The resolution of his conflict was heartwarming because what helped him in the end was being able to help his friends. The story took enough time to resolve Otto's internal conflict that it felt earned in the end, and that is what made the story really stick with me. The concept of new neighbors coming in and turning his life around was not something I was fully sold on, but the way it was done turned out perfectly. Tommy and Marisol were two silly neighbors that were extremely friendly and practically forced Otto to open up. This is the only way I think he could have gotten through this hard time because deep down he was a good guy that had just given up on life. He wasn't completely opposed to getting help, but it had just been so long since he let anyone in that it was hard for him to talk about his feelings. Marisol didn't take no for an answer and pushed him to deal with his emotions head on. With that said, I think the reason their dynamic worked so well is because Marisol was played excellently. She was very motherly while being stern, showing Otto that he had to listen to her because it was in his best interest. That leads me to the cast, which is what made this movie worth watching. Tom Hanks unsurprisingly did a phenomenal job playing the grumpy old man as genuinely as possible. I love Tom Hanks, and admittedly he is the only reason I saw the movie in the first place, but this role was one of my favorites I've seen in a long time. His ability to convey emotions is something not a lot of actors possess, and it's a treat to see him in a role full of such emotion. I was surprised by how good the cast was because I'm not familiar with the rest of the actors. These actors made the world feel real and living. I was so immersed that I forgot I was watching a movie until it ended, and I credit that largely to the incredible performances of the cast. A Man Called Otto is one of my favorite movies I've seen in a while, and I don't think the review scores do the movie justice. If you're someone that's on the fence, I'd highly recommend going to see it because it's so much better than the review scores suggest. Thanks for watching.